So a guy I met through America's Got Talent reached out, and he books artists to sing for Madison Square Garden national anthems on Veterans Day. And so he has used me the past like 4 years pretty much. And I get to sing at NBA and NHL games. I've gotten to meet some of my favorite artists.
Welcome to the 7 Eagle Group podcast, your home for inspiring stories, valuable tips, and great advice from hard-charging veterans so you can lead a more rewarding and lucrative post-military career.
Hey everybody, it is Jordy and Megan from 7 Eagle Group. We are sharing the story today of an Air Force active duty airman who has just got a fascinating story here. And we just had to share it because he's going to be working with us. We're helping him with his SkillBridge Internship, which we're going to get into, but it falls in line with what we call our Kickass Careers. This is someone who's doing something that is just so amazing, and we're so happy for him because it's right in line with his passion, and hopefully it's going to absolutely launch this meteoric career for him. So today's guest is Benjamin Hightower. He is from the Air Force. He went to the academy at age 18, and he's been serving for a total of 10 years now. And right now he's a professor of political sci at Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. And when he was a cadet, he was a member of the Air Force a cappella group, which was called In the Stairwell, which is very cool. We're going to hear all about this, and we have lots of questions for you. Benjamin, thank you for taking a few minutes today to jump on with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome. So we're going to rotate. I'm going to ask a question, then Megan's going to ask a question. So why don't we start out with you're growing up, why did you head down this path of Air Force Academy? Are you from a military family? Are you the first one to serve? Tell us a little bit about what brought you down to what got you on the track of the Air Force.
First of all, I want to say thanks for having me, and thanks to the 7 Eagle Group and Jordy and Megan for offering this amazing SkillBridge opportunity. I'm so excited to work with you guys, and it seems like a great thing you're doing for veterans. So I'm so deeply appreciative. My name's Benjamin Hightower. I went to the Air Force Academy in 2013. I crossed the bridge is what we call it, and it's now 2023. So I'm looking at 10 years since I crossed that bridge, which is wild to me. I joined because I wanted to see the world, and I wanted a great opportunity. Also, it being free, the Air Force Academy was a big draw for me. And it just seemed different, and I always liked structure. And so it's what I ended up doing. And it ended up being super hard and not always right for me, but I'm glad I did it in the end.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Alabama, Mobile, Alabama.
Only one in your family to?
Yeah, no one has touched the military or understands it. I had an uncle go to West Point, which is the closest thing, but it is truly the only one, so quite different.
So Megan is about to retire from the Air Force as well after a long and distinguished career. She's working with us at 7 Eagle. And Megan, tell everyone about what Ben did when he was a cadet and why that, and then we're gonna ask you some questions about that.
So Ben was part of an a cappella group called In the Stairwell, right? When he was a cadet. And so, if you could, Ben, tell us a little bit more about that experience.
100%. So I was part of this a cappella group called In the Stairwell. It was called that because freshman year at the academy, there were a lot of restrictions, so we couldn't really practice anywhere except in our common areas, which were the stairwells. So we called ourselves In the Stairwell. And if you've ever seen Pitch Perfect, you may know that there's this thing they do called the ICCAs, which is the International Competition of Collegiate A Cappella. And it's super nerdy, and it's real. It exists in real life. So our group signed up to do it, and we wore our military mess dress and, sang okay, but the military uniforms did a lot of work for us. And we did really well in the competition. It was filmed, put online, and eventually we were invited on the show, America's Got Talent, in 2017 for season 12. And so we were invited to audition. And we ended up making it 4 different rounds, and just kind of at the end of every round, we'd say, okay, this has to be done. And then we'd just make it to the next one, and we'd celebrate like hooligans. And it was just so fun, such a unique, crazy experience. I was the lead singer singer. And so I was doing a lot of the interface with the judges and doing a lot of the interviews. I got to meet so many cool people, and I'm still friends with a lot of them today. And funny enough, the internship I went to do through Seven Eagle, I met the person I'm going to work for through America's Got Talent. So it's led to crazy, unique opportunities for me.
That's so awesome. Talk about who the judges were on AGT when you were on. Where did you film it? What the hell? What was that like? Were you scared out of your mind? Was it like a live audience? And what was that like? That experience.
The judges were Simon Cowell, Heidi Klum, Howie Mandel, and Mel B, which is Scary Spice, and it was so scary. The live audience was it was nerve-wracking, and I remember just like my stomach was upset every time before, and just was like shaking and nerves. But once you get started, it kind of goes away, at least for me. The latter two rounds were live, so that means they were on live television on NBC, and they said 15 million people tuned in each week. And so I remember specifically one performance, like I came up through the stage and was looking at this camera. It was like a few feet from my face, and I thought there are 15 million people looking right back at me right now. And weirdly, my nerves went away, because that's like too big for the human brain to figure out how to handle. And so I think I did okay.
Which judge liked you guys the most?
Most was Mel B kept hitting on us because she, I think, was recently single, and so we got a lot of like
googly eyes,
flirtation, and then weirdly Howie didn't like us, but you know, reality TV is reality TV. And so it was just fun we got to meet them too when cameras were off, and you kind of get a feel for who is genuine and who isn't. I will say Simon Cowell is the coolest. He would come and talk to us and make sure we're okay and give us specific feedback when the cameras weren't on, which is not something every judge does.
Very cool. What an awesome experience, man, to have something like that, you know. That's amazing, man. Good for you. All right, Meg, hit him with one.
So what would you say was your most impactful experience, something that you learned from and that you'll take forward with you as you transition into leaving the service?
You mean specific to experience in the military?
Yeah, like what's something that you like an experience in the military that was a truly big impact that helped kind of shape your future and helped you really like kind of like learn something and something specifically that you'll then be able to take into the civilian workforce.
Oh wow.
Sorry, that's kind of a
I've learned so much in my
how did serving make you who you are today? Like, how do you feel that's gonna catapult your career?
I've learned so much in my time. I think one of the most impactful things I've done in the military was I speak French for the Air Force in this program called the Language Enabled Airmen Program. And through that, they can send you, I think, twice or every 2 years to a French-speaking country for a month. And my mentor went to southern France and stayed in a villa and had like champagne every day. And so I was looking forward to that when I got my assignment to Dakar, Senegal, and was like, oh shoot, like that's not where I want to go. And was kind of grumpy about it, and showed up to Dakar for a month and lived there, and it changed my life forever. It was the coolest. I got to surf most days, which is surfing off the coast of West Africa is quite a different animal than where I've surfed in California and South America. And so stepped on a few sea urchins and learned a lot about, my ability to surf in that climate. But the country as a whole is just really special. I didn't know much about colonization, or like had not taken a lot of time to study it, and how much the European colonization of Africa like truly destroyed it, and just kind of left it for, went in and changed everything and then just left it all of a sudden. And so that was pretty life-changing. I learned these people who I got to meet there have a lot less than I do and seem kind of happier. And so I had to think about what my life looks like with material possessions and what matters to me most. And so I think in terms of just what I've done in the Air Force that's impacted like my heart the most, it's been that. But career-wise, I am now a teacher at the Air Force Academy, and I attended the Air Force Academy, and I had some good teachers and some bad teachers. I hope I've been a good teacher. But one thing that I didn't get when I was a cadet was an emphasis on mental health resources. In fact, it was heavily stigmatized when I was a cadet. And so I didn't get therapy because I thought I'd lose my ability to do certain things in the Air Force, and suffered as a result. And so since have gotten help, and I'm so thankful for that help. And it's not affected my career, thank goodness. Unfortunately, the Air Force is broken in some ways, and it does affect some careers. But overall, I've been able to get the help I need. And so my job, as I view it now, as in teaching these young cadets who are going through like huge life changes in the Air Force Academy, and it's really hard, is that I can reinforce for them that there are resources for their mental health available, readily available, and they should go do it, because it's not a bad thing. It's actually, it's not weakness, it's strength. It's a choice to get help. And so I think I've been able to help some cadets through that. And so that has been my greatest meaning I've derived from the Air Force. I'm not even sure I answered your question, to be honest. I just went on a rant, but that's what
That's great, because, especially with September being, I think, Mental Health Awareness Month, or yeah, so that's really great.
Good for you, man. Good for you. What? So it didn't stop at AGT. It kept going. The parade off to Madison Square Garden in New York. You sang 4 national anthems. Do I have that right? For basketball?
Yeah, totally. So a guy I met through America's Got Talent reached out, and he books artists to sing for Madison Square Garden national anthems on Veterans Day. And so he has used me the past like 4 years pretty much. And I get to sing at NBA and NHL games. I've gotten to meet some of my favorite artists who've complimented my singing, which is mind blowing.
Who'd you get to meet?
Well, I met like, let's see, Lord, like the artist Lord.
Yeah.
I met Annie Francis from Schitt's Creek. I got to meet, I know that like the Dave Grohl was in the audience one time. It just, there's always like super interesting people who are there that I'm singing for. And then I'm walking through
the garden. There were probably a lot of celebrities too.
100%. Yeah.
So checking you out. That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's crazy. And just walking through those halls and seeing the posters of my heroes like Elton John and Billy Joel.
Yeah.
It's cool. And so, yeah, I'm going to do that. And through that, get through that connection too. I'm an artist, a singer-songwriter as well. So I put out my own music, and I work a lot with the guy who books me for Madison Square Garden. He plays strings. And so a lot of my tracks, he's playing violin on, which is also.
So that brings me to my next one, which is the guy you're talking about runs Rama Productions.
Yeah.
Some music producing company in New York City, or represents other artists. And that's where you're going to be doing your SkillBridge coming soon, and heading to the Big Apple. Talk a little bit about that experience, what that means to you. What do you hope to accomplish? What are you going to learn?
Yeah, totally. Were it not for Seven Eagle, this would not even be an option for me. So I'm really deeply appreciative. I'm going to head to work for this production company called Rama Productions, which does a lot of string production for artists, but also artist development and then content production. And so he does artist collaboratives where all these different like Broadway and singer-songwriter artists come together and perform for each other, and then they make video content. And so I'm going to help him out with that side of things. I'm going to help him out with the production side of things, and also just kind of be there to absorb the skill set that I need to do this, that I haven't been able to get from the Air Force. I've been able to get a lot of it from the Air Force, but music production is not one of the things. And so that's why I'm really grateful for this opportunity, because 6 months unencumbered time to like just soak in the skills that I need for this.
I imagine being on both sides of it as the performer. Now you're going to get the business side of the industry and develop those skill sets. I imagine it's just going to really help your career with no matter which path you go down, right? To understand, have those experiences.
I sure hope so. Yeah. Something I never got in the Air Force was it is the ability to just kind of like experiment with a lot of things and figure out what I like. I don't exactly, I know that I love writing music, but like I've never been in that world. And so I want to see what this 6 months can show me about what I like specifically.
Especially in New York City. I mean, that's the music capital of the world, I would imagine, or close to it, with as far as the production. And that's great. That's awesome. Well, I wish you nothing but success. You're going to have an incredible career. There's no doubt about that. I love that you figured out a way to make your career your passion, right? This is what you love doing. I could tell it's such a big part of who you are. And to be able to turn this into a rewarding and lucrative opportunity for you, that's what it's all about. And nothing but success to you. Anything you want to say to anyone listening I'm sure would it be all right if people connect with you if anyone has any questions, wants to meet you, wants advice?
Yeah.
You're on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm also on Instagram, which is where a lot of
Nice.
music stuff happens. So Benjamin Hightower, and there you can find my music too. And I also write like essays, kind of just doing it all.
Good
But
for you.
glad to connect and eager to, yeah, I know, I'm sure there's other artists in the military too. who
Yeah.
learn how to like navigate this kind of necessarily anti-art space.
Yeah, we got a guy on our team, Charming. He played, I think, I want to say the French horn in the military. And
Cool.
yeah, no, I love supporting people who are doing cool careers like what we got going on. And yeah, anyone watching, please go out, check out. We're going to put some of his clips in this video so you can watch Benjamin in action on the big stage, but then also go check out his Instagram page. And you said they can listen to some of your tracks there.
Yeah, totally. It's all there.
Outstanding. Benjamin, thank you so much, buddy. Nothing but the best.
Thank you, Jordy. Thanks 7 Eagle Group for even making this possible. I can't believe it. So
Take care.